If I was asked for political advice, not that anybody would ask me for political advice, I would say it would be very dangerous for the Trump White House and the president's allies to go after Bob Mueller, the former FBI director, who, as you know, now the special counsel in the Russia investigation. Here's a few of the reasons why. Mueller, unlike Jim Comey, who also had a good reputation but kind of ruined it and is a bit of a grandstander, is a low-profile, no-nonsense G-man, man of integrity, so much so that that's why the Deputy Attorney General reached out to him to be the special counsel, and there were even reports that the president was considering bringing him back to run the FBI before the events that later happened. And so it's kind of hard or risky or dangerous, I would say, to attack Mueller on professional grounds, but there is an exception to that. And that is something we're starting to hear from Newt Gingrich and other Trump allies, which is Bob Mueller the right man for this job, given his long-standing professional relationship with Jim Comey? I mean, after all, Comey has now emerged. He doesn't make any bones about it. In fact, he said he leaked that story to the New York Times, a story about the memo he had written after one of his meetings with the president, as the chief antagonist, the chief accuser of the president of the United States. Mueller has worked with Comey for years. They've had a friendly relationship. They are part of sort of a tight band of prominent law enforcement types here in Washington. And so now, if Mueller's investigation inevitably, I think, has to look at the charges that Comey has made, whether or not there's even any obstruction case to consider. I'm not saying there is, but clearly a special counsel can't ignore that. Is it reasonable to say that Mueller's not the guy, or has to recuse himself or let somebody else do it, but then why have him as special counsel, given the fact that he is hardly a stranger to Jim Comey, who is the chief accuser in the case? Now, Trump White House went pretty hard on the president himself after Comey, saying that he lied under oath, saying he was somewhat cowardly, using a word that Comey himself had used about himself in his Senate testimony. But still, I think it's risky to attack Mueller. But if the Trump people can create a bit of a media groundswell about whether or not Mueller is tainted in this position, does Bob Mueller then have to consider whether or not, at the way the dominoes have fallen, he is the one to lead this investigation? Because the best outcome here would be, regardless of what decision the special counsel makes, would be for the country to have confidence in it, for the country to feel like this wasn't somebody who either was too friendly to President Trump or too antagonistic to President Trump, that he acted as a good, solid, experienced, reasoned prosecutor and reached a reasonable decision. The argument now is that could be undercut by his relationship with Comey. Now, the legal experts go both ways. Some say he should recuse. Some say there's no need to recuse. I'm not even suggesting this as a legal matter. As a political matter, the decision that Mueller has to make, and that the media in covering this, I think, have to be fair in covering, is whether or not Mueller's friendship means that he is not going to be the unbiased prosecutor, at least in terms of perception, that the country would want in leading this sensitive investigation.